A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines. NPP to present inaugural budget to Parliament tomorrow. President reviews final budget proposal. Prime Minister pledges to build a nation focused on protecting and prioritizing the people.
විශාල වෙනසක් මේ රටේ ඔබ සිද්ධ කරා. ඒ වෙනස වෙන පැත්තකට ගෙනියන්න අපි කාටවත් ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Another indictment against Yoshita and Desi Forest over controversial land deal. Lab reports on controversial human immunoglobulin drug from India and Germany arrive in Sri Lanka. Sirasa announces resignation from committee discussing SJB-UNP alliance.
සාකච්ඡා ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න අවශ්‍ය නැත්නම් ඒ පිළිබඳව තීරණය කරලා මේ සාකච්ඡා වල දොර වහන්න තිබුණා.
Energy Minister holds key discussions with Indian High Commissioner. Foreign national arrested at BIA with hashish worth 360 million rupees. And now the stories in detail. A Canadian national has been arrested at the Bandaranaike International Airport in Katunayaka with a stock of hashish worth approximately 360 million rupees. The suspect will be produced before the court and is scheduled to be detained for 7 days for further investigations. Permission for this is to be sought from the Negombo Magistrates Court. The foreign national was arrested by the Sri Lanka Customs Narcotics Control Unit officers last night when she arrived in the country from Toronto, Canada via Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. She was arrested during a raid based on international intelligence received by the Customs Narcotics Control Unit. The suspect is a 36-year-old Canadian woman. Customs officers recovered the stock of hashish weighing 36.5 kilograms hidden in 2 suitcases she was carrying wrapped in several bedspreads. The Customs Narcotics Control Unit officers suspect that this stock of hashish was brought into Sri Lanka to be resent to another country. Now, what is happening to the discussions between the United National Party and the Samagi Jana Balawegaya on forming an alliance? The formation of an alliance between the United National Party and Samagi Jana Balawegaya is facing a crisis as various members of the party are pulling in different directions and voicing contradictory views. Now, this crisis further intensified today after Sirasa, who was a member of the committee appointed by the Samagi Jana Balawegaya to hold discussions with the UNP, stepped down from the committee. Will the efforts at the Samagi Jana Balawegaya and the United National Party to form an alliance be successful? Following the conclusion of the presidential and parliamentary elections, the Samagi Jana Balawegaya and the United National Party began discussions on forming an alliance to contest future elections. The team nominated from the United National Party included the General Secretary of the UNP, Thalathathu Korala, Deputy Leader of the UNP, Ruwan Wijewardena, and Attorney Yasas Weerakon. The team from the Samagi Jana Balawegaya appointed from these discussions included General Secretary of the SJB, Ranjith Madduma Bandara, National Organizer of the SJB, Sirasa, and SJB parliamentarians Kabir Hashim, Ganta Karnatilaka, Harshara Rajakaruna, and Mujibur Rahman. Despite several rounds of discussions being held, there has not yet been any final agreement reached between the two parties. Against such a backdrop, the national organizer of the SJB, Sirasa, announced today that he is stepping down from the committee appointed to hold discussions with the United National Party.
We
can see that there are various criticisms being leveled against us on social media and on WhatsApp from the party, and therefore there is a distortion of our stance. This decision was reached unanimously by the working committee of the party. If they did not want the discussions to continue, the working committee could have pulled the plug on the discussions. Accusing people and levelling allegations that they are conspiring are not relevant here. Our main goal was to make Sajid Premadasa the next president of the country. But I would like to make an announcement. Until the working committee decides on the stance of the party at the next meeting, I will not attend the discussions with the UNP. We attended these discussions in good faith.
නැවත මම නම් මේ සාකච්ඡාවට එකතු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපි සත්භාවයකින් මේක කළේ. අපි කාගේවත් ලොල්ලෝ නෙවෙයි.
පක්ෂයේ ජාතික සංවිධායක සභාපතිවරයා මහලේකම්වරයාව ඉවත් කිරීමේ වැඩපිළිවෙලක යම් පිරිසක් සූදානමක් තියනවා.
එහාට මෙහාට වෙන පණිවිඩ දිහා දැක්කහම ඒ වගේම පක්ෂයේයි ප්‍රකාශ කරන සමහර සමාජ මාධ්‍ය කණ්ඩායම් ප්‍රචාරය කරන දේවල් දැක්කහම එවැනි දෙයක් ක්‍රියාදාමයේ යටි අරමුණක් හැටියට ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා කියලා පේනවා.
සුජීව සේරසිංහ මහත්තයා යම් තනතුරකට එන්න උත්සාහ කරනද?
මම නම් දන්නේ නැහැ. පක්ෂයක තනතුරු වෙනුවෙන් තවත් කාට හරි එහෙම බලපෑම් කරනවා නම් ඒ විදිහට අපහාස කරනවා නම් ඒක වැරදි. පක්ෂයේම සමහර කණ්ඩායම් එවැනි තත්ත්වයන් වලට පත් වෙලා තියෙනවායි කියලා මේ හැසිරීමෙන් අපිට පේනවා.
With the national organizer of the SJB, Sirasa Lanka, stepping down from holding discussions with the UNP, have the other members of the committee also reached a similar decision? This is what the General Secretary of the Samagi Janabalawegaya, Ranjit Madhuma Bandara, had to say.
අපි සාකච්ඡා කරගෙන යනවා. ඔබ පක්ෂ දෙකක් එක්ක අහුවෙන එක දෙපැත්තක හිටපු එකක් දේශපාලනය කරන එක පොඩි ප්‍රශ්න එනවා. මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳගෙන ටිකක් කල් ගත වෙයි. අපි බලමු ඉස්සරහට මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. කේන්දර බලන්න බෑනේ, ශාස්ත්‍ර කියන්න බෑ.
Members of the UNP and the SJB during the past few days spoke about discussions between the two parties on forming an alliance.
දැන් අපි හොරුවෙක් එක්ක අහුවෙන්නේ නැහැ, හොරුවෙක් එක්ක අහුවෙන්නේ නැහැ කී අපිට පුළුවන්ද මෙවැනි තත්වයකදී රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයාගේ කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක එතුමත් එක්ක අහුවෙලා මේ ගමන යන්න. ඔවුන්ට තියෙන ඡන්ද ප්‍රමාණයෙන් අපිට කිසිම වාසියක් වෙනවා කියලා මම නම් හිතන්නේ නැහැ.
ඕක දෙන්නෙක්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවය ඉටු කරන්න. මොකද මේගොල්ලෝගේ එකතු වීම නෙමෙයි. ඒගොල්ලෝ බලන්නේ එක්කෙනෙක් බලන්නේ ලේකම් වෙන්න, අනෙක් කෙනා බලන්නේ නායකයා වෙන්න.
මම දන්න තරමට එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් එක්ක තියෙන සාකච්ඡා දැනට తాවකාලිකව නතර වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේක එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයත් එක්ක එකතු වීමක් නෙමෙයි. එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයට ඡන්ද පදනමක් නැහැ.
Here are the views expressed by Dr. Harsha De Silva, whose name recently came to the limelight during the appointment of the SJB district leader for the Colombo district.
ප්‍රධාන පක්ෂ සන්දානගත වීමක් සිදු වෙනවා.
අපි දන්නේ ඒක ඉස්සරහට බලන්න ඕනේ. මොකද අපිට අපේ මතවාදය පිළිගන්න සියලුම දෙනා එකතු කරගෙන ඉස්සරහට යන්න අවස්ථාවක් ලැබුණොත් ඒක වඩාත් සුබදායි වෙයි.
ඔබතුමා කෝට්ටේ සංවිධායක තනතුර ලැබුණා. ඔබ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ඊට වැඩි දෙයක්ද?
කෝට්ටේ සංවිධායක තමයි මම. නමුත් කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ සංවිධායකකම පිළිබඳව තමයි යම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් මතුවලා තිබුණේ. දැන් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. නායකතුමා ලංකාවේ නායකත්වයට අමතරව කොළඹ දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ නායකත්වය බාරගෙන තියෙනවා. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. ඉතින් අපි මේ විදිහට කරගෙන යමු.
What is the response of the United National Party regarding the discussions? The General Secretary of the United National Party, Thalata Attukurala, said that another round of discussions is scheduled to be held next week. She said that the two parties are due to reach a final agreement following the discussions. The General Secretary said that the final agreement reached between the two parties will be communicated to the leader of the UNP, Ranil Wickremesinghe.
This is the National People's Power stance on the potential alliance.
Our opposition leader is facing a problem where he can't even appoint district leaders within his own party. They are surrounding the offices and protesting. How can they form a strong government in the country when they can't even appoint 24 leaders of their own? Right now, the opposition is not forming a strong opposition. Instead, they are creating a strong corrupt front. That corrupt front will never succeed. These factions can't be united, and even if they do come together, they will be defeated by the people of this country in the upcoming local government elections.
The second reading of the appropriation bill, also known as the budget speech, is scheduled to take place in Parliament tomorrow. President Kumar Dissanayake, in his capacity as the Finance Minister of Finance, will present the 79th budget of Sri Lanka to Parliament. President Kumar Dissanayake, in his capacity as the Minister of Finance, will present the 2025 budget to Parliament at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. The government has projected a total expenditure of 4.218 trillion rupees for the year 2025. This marks a reduction of 2.76 trillion rupees compared to the previous year, as the 2024 government expenditure was recorded at 6.978 trillion rupees. The debate debate on the second reading is scheduled to be held for 7 days from the 18th to the 25th of February. Thereafter, the vote on the second reading of the bill is scheduled to be held on the 25th of February at 6 p.m. The committee stage debate on the appropriation bill is scheduled to be held for 19 days, including 4 Saturdays from the 27th of February to the 21st of March. The vote on the third reading of the appropriation bill is scheduled for 21st of March at 6 p.m. President Anur Kumar Dissanayake reviewed the 2025 budget proposal that is to be tabled tomorrow. The President inspected the budget at the President's office. Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Mahinda Sirivadana, was also present.
Prime Minister Dr. Hari Amarasuriya says that a country that prioritizes its citizens and places them first will be built under the NPP government.
The Prime Minister made these remarks during a visit to Nachikuda in Punagiri, Kilinochchi.
අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ මේ රටේ පුරවැසියන් මේ රටේ ජනතාව. අපිට සංවාදයේ එකඟතාවය තියෙන්නේ ඔබත් එක්ක.
We believe the people and citizens of this country. Our discussions and agreements are with you. We believe that with you, massive change can be brought about in this country. You brought about change in this country. We will not allow anyone to take that change in another direction. We will not allow for racism to be propagated. We will not allow for the law to be used for the protection of powerful individuals based on their whims and fancies. We will create a country that protects the people and prioritizes the people. Our government has started to work on 3 main fronts. Our first priority is to resolve the economic issue in the country, increase the income of the people, increase employment opportunities. That is why we will be prioritizing agriculture, fisheries and entrepreneurship in this year.
දීවර කර්මාන්තයට ස්වයං රැකියාවට වැඩි අවධානයක් මේ අවුරුද්දේ දෙන්නේ.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Hari Amarasuriya visited the Sri Lankan German Vocational Training Institute to assess the needs of the centre and the challenges faced by the students. The governor of the northern province, Nagalingam Vedanayagam, was also present.
The Attorney General's Department says that another indictment is due to be filed against Yoshitha Rajapaksa and Desi Forest.
The Attorney General last Friday filed indictments against Yoshitha Rajapaksa, the son of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and his grandmother Desi Forest. The indictments were filed for 3 offences under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. The charges relate to the purchase of several properties in Sirimal Uyana Ratmalana and Dehiwala for a sum of 50 million rupees. On the 25th of January, the Criminal Investigations Department arrested Yoshitha Rajapaksa and placed him under remand custody. The arrest was made over the purchase of a 34.5-acre plot of land at Sirimal Uyana for a sum of 36 million rupees. Yoshitha Rajapaksa was released on bail on the 27th of January after he was produced before the Colombo Additional Magistrate. Against such a backdrop, the Attorney General's Department is now preparing to file another indictment against Yoshitha Rajapaksa and Desi Forest over another land transaction.
Do you remember the human immunoglobulin scam? Several suspects, including the former Minister of Health, Keheli Rambukala, were placed under remand custody for their involvement in this scam. Saline, or a substance similar to that fraudulently branded as human immunoglobulin, was distributed to hospitals across Sri Lanka. Indian and German lab reports on the controversial stocks of human immunoglobulin has been received.
The police said that officers investigating the human immunoglobulin scam had received these reports from India and Germany. The Attorney General's Department confirmed that these lab reports have been received. The Attorney General's Department said that the relevant reports will be studied, following which a decision regarding onward legal action will be taken. Do you remember? Payments had been made for 3,985 vials of fake human immunoglobulin. The sum paid in total was in excess of 404 million rupees. These fake vials of human immunoglobulin were procured based on an agreement entered into between the former Secretary to the Ministry of Health and the Chairman of Isoles Biotech on the 4th of January 2023. The amount of money agreed to be paid under the agreement was approximately 1 billion rupees. Permission to distribute these drugs among government hospitals was based on a waiver of registration letter said to have been issued to Isoles Biotech. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority later confirmed that the purported waiver of registration letter said to have been issued to Isoles Biotech was a forgery. When the documents pertaining to the company were perused, it was revealed that there were documents pertaining to the import of raw material from India for the production of medicine in Sri Lanka. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority was well aware of the activities of this company. The NMRA had on several occasions inspected the facilities of Isoles Biotech and refused to grant permission for the production of medicine in Sri Lanka. It has now been revealed that these fake medicine were produced in Sri Lanka. What had happened to the patients who were given these fake medicine? Who will bear the responsibility for this? Can the lives of Sri Lankan citizens be sacrificed like this?
Now, what has happened to the Hambantota Suryaweva IT Park? We're diving into this abandoned project on today's edition of What Happened to the Village.
What happened to the village?
We are constantly told we are living in a tech-driven world, poised to conquer global challenges. But do we actually have the infrastructure to back that up? This park, or rather the shell of a park, raises serious questions. Launched in 2014, the Suryaweva IT Park was supposed to be a shining example of Sri Lanka's tech future. Millions were poured into the project and initial construction did get underway. Fast forward 10 years and what do we have? A derelict building, plagued by delays and now occupied by wildlife, not tech companies.
මේක කිසිම ප්‍රයෝජනයක් නැහැ. මේකේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ වවුල්ලොන්ටයි අලින්ටයි හොරුන්ටයි කසිප්පුකාරයොන්ටයි. වෙන කිසිදු දෙයක් මෙච්චර කාලයක් වෙලා නැහැ. මේ අහිංසක මිනිස්සුන්ගේ බදු මුදල් අරගෙන මේ දූෂණය වෙන අන්දමට මේව කරගෙන කාලා අදටත් කිසිම කෙනෙක් නැහැ මේව බලන්න හොයන්න එන්නේ.
මේකට නිවෙල දැනට අවුරුදු 10ක් 12ක් පෙළේ ඉඳලා කෝටි ගාණක් වියදම් කරලා රටේ මහජන මුදල් අන්න මේව දැක්කලා බලලා හොයලා රටේ ජනතාවට පළදායි දෙයක් ඉස්සරහට හදලා දෙන්න කියලා.
Who allowed building a high-tech hub in the middle of nowhere? Where did all the allocated funds go? And will anyone be held responsible for this failure? Development isn't just about grand announcements. It's about execution, transparency, and ultimately delivering tangible benefits to the community.
What happened to the village?
Imagine a life where the simple act of quenching your thirst is a daily struggle. For the residents of Parasangasweva, a village in Anuradhapura, this isn't a hypothetical scenario, it's their reality. For years, they have lived without clean, safe drinking water, something most of us take for granted. Promises had been made, but clean water remained a distant dream.
Since the beginning of 2025, Gammadda, Sri Lanka's most impactful rural development movement, has been making real, tangible changes in communities across Sri Lanka. By working closely with local people, they've successfully delivered a number of impactful projects to improve lives. Today, Gammadda completed another vital project for the people of Parasangasweva, a village in Anuradhapura, home to around 577 families. This project was made possible thanks to the generous contributions of Mr. P.A.D. Premadasa, Mrs. Ramya Imbulgoda and their family. Members of the Gammadda movement were also there, marking the start to this new chapter for Parasangasweva.
We believe that this water purification system will benefit everyone in the village. I hope you will help protect and preserve it as well.
ශක්තියක් වේවායි කියලා මම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා.
වසර දහස් ගණනාවකට කලින් ඒ තිබ්බ ප්‍රශ්නවල
Thousands of years ago, the people of Rajarata faced the same challenges that you are facing today. The problem of water and irrigation. The solutions they came up with to those problems, the Vavar system still stands strong and continues to serve and guide us. That's the philosophy of sustainability that is endemic to us. In the modern times, Gammadda is a similar concept driven by the strength, spirit and leadership of the people of Sri Lanka.
For the people of Parasangasveva who have long struggled to access clean water, this project isn't just about convenience. It's about survival. Many families have relied on contaminated sources or spent what little they had on bottled water. Now this new facility will significantly improve their quality of life.
මේක මම දන්න විදිහට දැනට අපි අතරින් වෙන් වෙලා තියෙනවා වකුගඩු රෝගීන් 10කට වැඩි. අපිට පිරිසිදු වතුරක් බොන්න නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ කරපු පුණ්‍ය කටයුත්ත ගම්මැද්ද වැඩසටහනේ අපිට ලොකු හයියක් වුණා.
ෆිල්ටර් වතුර ආවට පස්සේ සල්ලි වෝටරන් ටිකක් බිව්වා. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට සල්ලි අමාරුයි. දැන් නම් ලොකු පිනක් මේක අදලා මෙයා කරගත්ත එක ලොකු සතුටක් ගම්මැද්දට බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
For those of us living in cities, access to clean water is something we rarely have to worry about. But for rural communities like Parasangasveva, having safe drinking water is a luxury that's been out of reach for far too long. Gammadda, for the people, by the people.
Newsfirst, with the people.
Minister of Energy Kumar Jayakodi met with Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Santosh Jha. The meeting was held at the Indian High Commission. The Minister of Energy Kumar Jayakodi and the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka Santosh Jha discussed various elements of the energy partnership between the two countries with a focus on strengthening cooperation in the sector. Meanwhile, several programs under the National Beach Cleaning Program launched by the government were carried out today. These programs are being conducted under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative.
The clean-up of the Back Bay Beach in Trincomalee was carried out today under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative. Governor of the Eastern Province, Professor Jayantalal Ratnasekara, and Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Employment, Arun Hemachandra, also took part in the beach clean-up. The main beach cleanup operation in the Ampara district was held at the Arugambe beach today. Deputy Minister of Rural Development, Social Security and Community Empowerment, Vasanta Piyatissa, District Secretary of Ampara, Chintaka Abhayavikrama, and the Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security, Ravi Senviratna, joined the beach cleanup at the Arugambe beach. The Kalmuna Urban Council, Saindamardu Pradeshya Sabha and Karitevo Pradeshya Sabha jointly conducted the beach cleanup at the Saindamardu and Maligaikadu beaches. Cleanup operations were also carried out at the Chettipalayam, Gurukkal Madam, Ontachi Madam and Periyakallaru beaches, falling under the purview of the Kaluanchikudi Divisional Secretariat in the Batikalo district today. Beach cleanup programs were also carried out today at the Kinya beach, the coast extending from Kathankudi to Batikalo and the coastline extending from Trincomalee to Mudur. Several other programs under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative were carried out across the island today. Several of these programs were conducted at the Godatua Wetland Park, Chandrika Kumartungamawata in Malabe, Kesalwata in Panadura and Oval Circus in Barella North.
We know that generally, in particular in the month of February, we always talk about love and the month of love. We wanted to come together to ensure that people understood that love is about also loving your community and taking care of people in the areas and your neighborhoods around you. So today we've come together to try to not just superficially clean this place, which obviously is a lot of work. We are doing a lot of painting, a lot of renovation, but also in encouraging the community in the area to maintain and take care of their spaces so that we will have a better space for children, not just to play with, but a more wholesome space for them to continue to grow in.
Residents of the Periyanilavane village in Ampara staged a protest today.
Residents of the Periyanilavane village in Ampara staged a protest today demanding for a tavern in the area to be closed down. A group including parliamentarians from the Tamil Arasu Katchi, R. Shanakyan and K. Kodishwaran and former parliamentarian President's Council M.A. Sumanthiran visited the site of the protest. The protesters requested the group not to use their protest for political purposes. Former parliamentarian President's Council M.A. Sumanthiran left the site of the protest, assuring that he will close down the tavern in the area. The Divisional Secretary of Kalmunay North, D.J. Adisayaraj, then held discussions with the protesters and took steps to temporarily close down the tavern for today.
என்ற ஒரு தற்காலிக வெற்றியை நாங்கள் பெற்றிருக்கின்றோம். வடக்கு பிரதேச செயலாளர் மனிதாபிமான அடிப்படையிலே அதனை தற்காலிகமாக மூடுவதற்குரிய ஏற்பாட்டை அவர் செய்திருக்கின்றார்.
இதை தற்காலிகமாக மூடி இருக்காங்க மக்கள். ஆனா இது தற்காலிகமான மூடல் வேணாம், நிரந்தரமாக இந்த பார் இவ்விடத்திலே இந்த பார் இருக்க கூடாது.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
තේලුනේ මේ ටෝකියෝ සුපර් ඕන වැඩකට සුපර්.
ආදරේට ආදරේ කියන්න ආපු ඔයාලා ඔක්කොටම ආදරේ.
The ISEC International Congress 2025 took place this morning in Kalutara.
The ISAC International Congress 2025 under the title Roots to Rise was held this morning. The event was chaired by the Deputy Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development, Chaturanga Abesingha.
We are moving further away from the sustainable goals that we all agreed as a world to achieve. Because we still don't understand the root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is inequality. Whatever you do, you need to fight to bring equal opportunity to people who does not have access to knowledge, access to capital, access to society. So unless we break these three barriers, none of these sustainable goals will ever be achieved in this world. Half of our population in this country is in poverty. So where did we fail? And there is only three levers to pull. The three is education. Can you work harder collectively to ensure there is equal opportunity for knowledge, improve education, and entrepreneurship. So I am supposed to drive entrepreneurship in this country. That can change Sri Lanka because it will give economic independence. And the reason entrepreneurship was not driven, there was a system who did not believe social empowerment. Because if people are empowered and people have enough money and wealth, they will not endorse corrupt politics. So it was systematically done. What if all three unite together, work on a common program for a country or the world, that each organization and individuals have a task in a great purpose for a nation. That is what we want to do.
A large number of students from both state and private universities participated in the event.
The handover ceremony of the Healing Garden at Suwarna took place today.
The handover ceremony of the Healing Garden at Suwarna, Sri Lanka's first pediatric palliative care centre for children with cancer, took place today. The event was attended by Japanese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Akio Isomata, and chairperson of the Indira Cancer Trust operating the Suwarna, Dr. Lanka Jayasurya Disanayaka, among others.
Japan has been helping Sri Lanka in many ways and in medical fields. Because we have, as I mentioned earlier, such a strong bond of friendship and cooperation between our two countries and between our two peoples, which is based upon mutual trust and respect.
This entire project, this entire work, Indira Cancer Trust, is a very special and a personal journey for our entire family. You see so many pink saris here. All of you who are here today who have been invited because you are all special to us. Everything has a meaning. The colors, the trees, the sounds, everything has a meaning here. Not only in the garden, but from the time you walk into this building.
The Healing Garden at Suwarna project was completed under the grant assistance for grassroots human security projects.
The 34th Road Track District Conference was held in Negombo today.
The 34th Rotaract District Conference, a one-day event, brought Rotaractors from all around the country together for a discussion to inspire innovation and to ignite entrepreneurial potential. The conference seeks to shape the future through leadership, collaboration and groundbreaking ideas.
Moving on to news overseas, a crush at New Delhi railway station has left around 18 people dead and at least 10 injured. Thousands of people are reportedly crammed into the railway station last night as they tried to board a delayed train.
10 women and 3 children were among at least 18 people killed in a crowd crush at a train station in India's capital, New Delhi, as thousands of Hindu pilgrims waited to board trains to attend the annual Mahakumbh Mela religious festival. The incident unfolded last night on 2 platforms at the New Delhi railway station as huge crowds waited to board trains to Prayagraj city where the festival is being held. Publishing a post on X, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi said his thoughts were with all those who have lost their loved ones. India's Minister of Railways, Ashwini Vaishnav, said 4 trains had been deployed to evacuate a sudden and unprecedented surge of travellers at the station, and an investigation has been ordered to find out what went wrong. Witnesses reported a crowd surge that was sparked by the delay of the 2 trains, which led to an unexpectedly large number of passengers waiting on platforms. Media outlets reported that when people rushed to board an arriving train, the situation spiraled out of control, with some passengers fainting amid the sudden surge. The Mahakumbh is the single biggest milestone on the Hindu religious calendar, and officials said about 500 million devotees have already visited the festival since it began in January. Crowd crushes regularly occur at India's major religious festivals. At least 30 people were killed in a crush at the Mahakumbh last month when tens of millions of Hindus gathered to bathe in sacred river waters.
Elephants, much like children, have a natural love for play. We leave you tonight with some lovely visuals from the Pinnavalla Elephant Orphanage's 50th anniversary celebrations on tonight's edition of Happy Headlines. Good night.
Happy Headlines. The Pinnavalla Elephant Orphanage, known for its dedication to the care and conservation of elephants, celebrated a major milestone today, marking its 50th anniversary. The occasion was marked with a grand celebration that brought together visitors and locals alike. One of the highlights of the event was the unveiling of a stunning elephant statue. A special milk rice was also prepared. The elephants were treated to a generous pile of fresh fruit, much to the delight of the onlookers who enjoyed watching the elephants happily munching away. The celebration also attracted a number of foreign tourists who joined in with great enthusiasm. Though elephants are massive in size, their playful nature was on full display today, reminding everyone that much like children, they too love to play.
lives.